The forest can be a wonderful place to get back in touch with nature. With their serene beauty, forests inspire thoughts of relaxation. For all their benefits, however, forests can still be daunting places. Once the sun goes down, this can turn into a general foreboding, with danger seemingly lurking around every corner. Artists everywhere, including writers and producers, love engaging yet terrifying forest scenes. With so much space to hide, forests are a perfect haven for criminals and weirdos. From the psychopath to the hermit, forests are a good place to disappear if you don't want to be found. This adds a certain level of creepiness. Furthermore, there have been some very strange things found in forests that only add to their mystery. To help clear things up, we've compiled a list of the 5 strangest things found in the forest. Let's begin. Number 5. Mystery Sphere. Dr. Samir Osmanagic believes that a series of immense iron balls dotting the landscape around Bosnia in Eastern Europe could be some of the oldest made by humans. If his claim is true, then one of the greatest archaeological finds in recent history could be sitting undisturbed in the unassuming landscape of Bosnia. These immense boulders, supposedly carved by human hands around 1500 years ago, are, according to Osmanagic, evidence that the area conceals a long-forgotten civilization that included underground tunnels serving to connect a number of pyramids. While this far-fetched claim begins to touch on the absurd by the time we get to talk of pyramids, the balls are still no less intriguing. They were found to contain an extremely high iron content, much more than anything found in the surrounding landscape, and seem to have been carved by humans a very long time ago. Other than that, not much is known about these strange spheres. It's said that there used to be many more of them dotting the countryside, hundreds even. Almost all of these have now been destroyed after stories spread to locals suggesting they contained gold. Unfortunately, this wasn't the case, and now there are much less of the strange objects left to study. We can't fault them for it, but perhaps if we had more to study, we could come to some kind of consensus. The country also suffered through being on the front line of some incredibly intense and brutal wars and engagements throughout recent history, which could also account for the destruction of these fascinating objects. While many doubt Osmanagic's wild and admittedly ludicrous claims of massive and ancient cities gazing out across an expanse of pyramids in Bosnia's past, archaeologists across the globe can all agree that they're definitely worth looking into for their seeming historical significance. Anthropologists in the area have also been eager to posit theories regarding the sphere's creators, with many claiming them to be a lost tribe of nomads who accidentally found themselves lost far from home, but none have any real supporting evidence as of yet. Opposition to the near-complete agreement that these are man-made has even been stated, with some concrete evidence to back it up, in a manner of speaking. It turns out that the process of, you guessed it, concretion was given as evidence and holds a surprising amount of weight. Not that these massive boulders need any more of that. Even though the origins of these stones remains hotly debated, they are a magnificent sight and do look very man-made. Number 4. Nazi tree formations. This group of trees lay completely forgotten about in Zernikow until 1992, when aerial photographs accidentally captured the spectacle. The swastika has a long history that predated the Nazis by centuries. It was originally used by ancient Indians, among many other cultures, and symbolized prosperity in their culture. It became an image of evil and hatred after it was adopted by Hitler's Nazi party when he took control of Germany and began his murderous campaign of terror. Apparently, someone was a fan of his in the area and took it upon themselves to plant these trees designed to display 2 enormous swastikas every year when the seasons change. Given the history involved, that's an incredibly creepy discovery. After Germany's fall, it's remarkable that this went unnoticed by the world for so long. Even more disturbing is that it took numerous attempts to clear the forest and remove the stain from the landscape. After these unsuccessful attempts, with the forest growing back each time, the government finally removed only a portion of the trees in order to obscure the swastika. Their attempts were still fruitless for the most part, with the sign still being relatively visible. The trees even give a date under the 2 symbols, making it clear that a lot of work was put into this. The date even gives it the feel of a memorial, which certainly sends chills up our spines when we think about it. Amazingly, this is not the only time a forest has been branded in this way. Nazi supporters really were a band of raving lunatics, and these displays prove as much. It also goes to show that these people had far too much time on their hands. If they'd spent less time uprooting trees to make shapes and spent more getting to work, then maybe Germany wouldn't have been in such a rough spot to begin with. Forests across the area show similar color-changing features, with another notable site located in Kyrgyzstan at the base of the Himalayas. Many have suggested that these were projects constructed by the Hitler Youth, but evidence shows that it was probably just a few nutjobs wasting time while being terrible human beings to boot. Number 3. Real-life Mowgli. This girl is hailed as a modern-day Jungle Book character. Her upbringing certainly was, at the very least, unconventional. It's surprising that this item didn't make more waves around the world, as its implications are pretty astounding. It turns out that a young girl in India was found to be living in Katerniyagat Forest and Wildlife Sanctuary, existing as part of a tribe of monkeys. While the boy in Rudyard Kipling's classic tale was instead raised by wolves, the similarities are uncanny. It seems like the child was abandoned by her human parents only to be found by the troop, which quickly adopted her. The girl was rescued, as officials like to say, by police after being spotted by concerned citizens. The police, however, had to launch multiple attempts to bring the girl in because every time they approached, the monkeys would attack the police in order to protect her. Even more incredible is that she appeared to be carefree and unconcerned about her supposed predicament. She was also found to be relatively healthy. When first discovered by woodcutters, the girl apparently screeched at them like a monkey and resisted all attempts to coax her back to civilization. Originally determined to be between 8 and 12 years old, nobody is sure how long she actually spent under the care of the troop. Given her aggressive nature and complete assimilation into the monkey society, it was assumed that she was probably raised from a young child. Experts have agreed that she probably had sustained human contact before she joined the troop, with many claiming that she probably hadn't been there too long and was only recently abandoned. Signs of mental illness could be a clue as to why she was abandoned, but while she is currently toilet trained, she still can't speak. Hopefully she will, in time, be able to recount her unique and strange tale. Number 2. Crooked Forest. The trees in this forest make for surprisingly nice chairs, but do lend the place an atmosphere that suggests hooded figures wielding axes, intent on efficiently removing your limbs in no particular order. Even so, there's a haunting beauty to the place. Furthermore, nobody knows what happened to the trees here. One would be mysterious enough, but to be surrounded by strange, sea-stumped trees in such abundance is even more so. This 80-year-old forest is most definitely strange. It seems that some event during the early formation of this forest damaged the tips and some side branches of sprouting trees, but nothing is really known for certain. There is other evidence that points toward these 22 rows of almost identical trees being planted in order to farm later for specialized parts. This process, which produces compass timbers, could be the reason for these deformities and used to be routine when it came to shipbuilding and other industries. What makes this explanation so puzzling would be that someone started a large-scale project only to abandon it relatively quickly. Even more strange is that no news is spread of anyone taking on such a project in the area. Some of this mystery is due to the fact that local inhabitants aren't all that local after all. The nearby town of Gryphino was completely razed during World War II and wasn't resettled until the 1970s. This aptly explains why nobody knows the true origin of the Crooked Forest. One final theory posits that a natural disaster, potentially a freak winter storm, knocked the entire forest over. If this is the case, it's a testament to the resilience of these incredible and strange trees. We'll probably never know the real reason behind the awkwardly shaped trees, but we'll definitely not want for outlandish theories in the years to come. Number 1. Amazon Glyphs. These glyphs, discovered in the Amazon, cover a fairly wide expanse of territory. Over 450 have been discovered, and some are absolutely enormous. This discovery is an odd one because we've previously thought that the Amazon was too dense for humans to have undertaken large-scale removal of trees to carve out immense settlements and spaces. If proven to be true, this could throw into question everything we know about the civilizations that used to occupy the area. The most important change would be with regard to how we view their engineering capabilities. These projects would have taken a massive amount of labor, preparation, and cost to complete. We know that these civilizations were quite advanced, but this suggests they were incredibly skilled at altering their landscape on an unprecedented scale. The glyphs reach a good 13 feet deep and represent a number of geometric shapes and some that are more abstract. Anthropologists have determined that these sites were probably ancient meeting places, potentially used for spiritual or religious purposes. Not much evidence has been found to suggest that they were used often. This points towards them being used infrequently. The area also shows extensive cultivation was carried out here, with huge swaths of the forest being cut back to suit the growing communities. Previous data made it look like these advancements were made much more recently, which gave us a misguided sense of what these people were capable of. Even though these glyphs have revealed so much interesting information that will no doubt employ archaeologists and anthropologists for a few decades, they still don't explain much of it at all. Experts are still just as stumped as they first were as to what these formations were actually used for or how they were constructed. Further investigation is currently ongoing with the hope of shedding light on some of the more strange aspects of these amazing glyphs. The fact that so little evidence of actual human habitation has been found so far hampered progress and presents some very real issues when it comes to narrowing things down. We've got our fingers crossed that they were made by an as yet unknown advanced tribe of the Amazon. Only time will tell when it comes to these incredibly strange and mysterious forests scattered across the globe. And there, you have 5 strangest things found in the forest. These strange places just go to show that some fascinating things can be found if you dare to venture far enough. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like and share it, and if you haven't already, subscribe down below to get notified every single day with new videos from Top 5's finest. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, we are out.